Hello students, good morning. How are you? I hope you are doing good. Welcome back to English class. Students, today I am going to continue poem 8 The Trees by Adrian Rich. In the last class, explanation of first stanza along with poetic devices was already completed. Today I am going to explain stanza 2 and stanza 3 of this poem. I explained that this is a highly symbolical poem. The title, The Trees, is an extended metaphor for females. Beautifully, the poet explained in the first stanza about the movement of the trees into the forest, the forest which was empty for a long time. As a result, it lacked natural beauty. And in the last line, the poet was quite optimistic in saying that the forest that was empty all these nights will be full of trees by morning. Metaphorically, the poet means to say that the women, those who were in the confinement of the four walls of the houses, are moving into the outer world. They have been trying to move into the world of men, and the world which lacked beauty for so far will be definitely looking beautiful and cheerful with the presence of the women. Let's see the next stanza. Stanza 2. All night the roots walk to disengage themselves from the cracks in the veranda floor. Disengage, students, means separate. Cracks means breaks. The leaves strain toward the glass. Strain means here pressure or make efforts to move. Small twigs stiff with exertion. Twigs means small thin branches on a tree. Stiff means get firm. Exertion means it is tiredness, overwork, or effort, you can say. Long cramped boughs shuffling under the roof. Here cramped means not having enough space or become hard. Boughs means branches, shuffling means dragging. Like newly discharged patients, half dazed. Half dazed means half slept or confused, moving to the clinic doors. In this stanza, the poet reveals the efforts of the trees to move out into the forest. Metaphorically, she shows the struggle of women to get freedom and to step into the outer world. These lines, this second stanza, it reflects the women inside the house putting their efforts to liberate themselves from the prison of the house. The poet says, all night the roots work to disengage themselves from the cracks in the veranda floor. Means the poet says that it seems that the trees work silently at night to disengage themselves, to complete their mission of getting free from the boundaries of the house. The roots of the trees try the whole night to disengage, means to separate themselves from the cracks in the veranda floor, because they have been deeply rooted for a long time. The leaves strain toward the glass. The leaves of the trees put pressure towards the glass, make efforts to move towards the glass, perhaps in search of light. Small twigs stiff with exertion. Here, in their efforts, small thin branches, small twigs means small thin branches, get firm and twisted. Long cramped boughs shuffling under the roof. Long branches that have not found enough space for growth are dragging themselves, are shuffling themselves under the roof and want to get out into the open to spread themselves in free air. Like newly discharged patients, half dazed, moving to the clinic doors. How they are moving, how they are dragging. They try to move out slowly, like newly discharged patients who are half shocked, half dazed to enter the outside world. They look like the patients who have just been discharged from the clinic. They are compared with patients because at the time of discharge, generally a patient is still weak and walks unsteadily and is half dazed. Similar is the condition of these branches and twigs of the trees when they are trying to move out of the house. Let's see the metaphorical meaning of this stanza. Metaphorically, the poet means to say that the women have been toiling very hard all these years to set themselves free from captivity from the four walls of houses. The women have been struggling to gain freedom from their domestic prison, to disengage their roots from the age-old traditions and from the old domestic floors. In the concluding lines, like newly discharged patients half-dazed moving to the clinic doors. In the concluding lines, the moving of these women is compared with the half-dazed patients moving out to the clinic door. The poet wants to say that although the patient is half-dazed, means half-conscious under the influence of medication, yet he wants to leave the hospital as soon as possible. And similar is the condition of women. They are desperate enough to uproot themselves and step into the outer world. They are trying to detach themselves from the roots of the house because they are feeling uneasy and restless in the confinement of house. Now the time has come for a change, and the women they are putting their efforts to take action to leave the house, to uproot themselves from the confinement of the house and to put their step into the outer world. This is what the poet very beautifully explained in this stanza. Let's see the poetic devices used in this stanza. In line 5, small twigs tip with exertion, and line 6, long cramped boughs shuffling under the roof. Here twigs and boughs, they are personified. So the poetic device of personification has been used in these lines. Apart from this, there is an effective use of simile in line 7, like newly discharged patients. An effective use of simile by the poet in this line 7. Here long cramped boughs are compared with newly discharged patients. So the poetic devices of personification and simile are used in this stanza. Hopefully students, you well understood this stanza. Let's move to the third stanza. I sit inside. Door opens to the veranda, writing long letters in which I scarcely mention the departure of the forest from the house. The night is fresh, the whole moon shines in a sky still open. The smell of leaves and listen still reaches like a voice into the rooms. Here scarcely means hardly, and departure means leaving, and listen means crusty patches on a tree. Here students, I refers to the poet. In this stanza, the poet expresses her feeling to see the departure of trees, departure of women from the confined house to a new world. She sits inside. The poet is saying, I sit inside, doors open to the veranda, writing long letters in which I scarcely mention the departure of the forest from the house. She sits inside the house, the doors of which open into the veranda. She is writing letters, but hardly mentions about the trees which are trying to move out to the empty forest. Further, she says that the night is fresh, the whole moon shines in a sky still open. She says that the night is fresh and the full moon is shining in an open sky. The smell of leaves and listen still reaches like a voice into the rooms. What she is saying in the last concluding lines, the smell of leaves and lichen is still reaching into the rooms like a voice. Let's see the metaphorical meaning of this stanza. Metaphorically, the poet means to say that Sitting inside her room, she is writing letters for a social cause, for women liberation, in which she is hardly mentioning about this change, because she feels that men will not allow this change to happen if they come to know about it. Further, she mentions that the night is dark but fresh because it is a new beginning. The moon, which is a sign of hope and beauty. Here the poet says that the dark night, which refers to gloomy period, is going to be end because the full moon, the whole moon means the full moon, which is a sign of hope, is shining in the open sky. In the concluding lines, he says, the smell of leaves and lichen still reaches like a voice into the rooms. She says, the fragrance of leaves and lichen coming through open door like a voice into the rooms and inviting the woman to come out of the door into the free air. So, this is what the poet very beautifully explained in the third stanza. Let's see the poetic devices used. See students, in line 2, long letters, here L sound is prominent, same sound words, L sound is prominent. Then in line 4, forest from, here F sound is prominent. Then line 6, sky still, here S sound is prominent. And line 7, leaves and listen, L sound is prominent. So, these are in these words, line 2, line 4, line 6 and line 7, the poet has very beautifully used the beautifully shows the use of poetic device of alliteration. Then once again there is an effective use of simile in the last line, like a voice into the rooms. The distinct smell of leaves and lichen is compared with voice. So, this is how the use of alliteration and simile has been used in this stanza. Hopefully, you will well understood stanza 2nd and 3rd that is explained today. Read out this poem, read all these 3 stanza again and prepare your own notes of explanation. Last stanza along with message conveyed through the poem I will give in the next class. Till then, take care of yourself. Thank you.